Kia ora and welcome to this episode of the Image Austenite. I'm Frances Duncan, an author and the founder of the Jane Austen Society of Aotearoa, New Zealand. My co-host is Rachel Pilwa.
Hello.
Today we're discussing Chapter 11 of Emma by Jane Austen. In Chapter 11, the Knightleys come to visit, Emma's sister and brother-in-law, their 5 children, and all the hangers-on, nursery maids, etc. And they miss that Miss Taylor is no longer there because it's the first time they've visited since she got married and became Mrs. Weston.
I'm like, too many children. There's too many kids. Not for this time.
Well, we only ever hear about 3 of them. The youngest, Emma, and the 2 eldest, Henry and John. Henry named after his grandfather, John named after his father, Emma quite obviously named after
Emma. Yeah.
So there are 2 in the middle. We do not know their gender or their names.
I never thought about that. I didn't know that we didn't know all their names.
Henry after Mr. Woodhouse, John after Mr. John Knightley, their father, and then 2, we do not know if there's a boy in there. There might be a George after their uncle, and then the youngest is a girl named Emma. Surely
they would do a George. Well, you'd feel like they should. Otherwise, blatant favouritism. And more things to make Emma's ego bigger.
But yeah, we never see the other children. And this means that Isabella has been pregnant basically her entire marriage. She's been married, 6-7 years. So she's just pumping him out.
Probably like getting pregnant again within like a couple of months.
It sounds like a nightmare.
Oh God, can you imagine how tired and fucked up your body must be?
But see, then look at their families. There are 2 Knightley brothers. There are 2 Woodhouse sisters, which works very well because they're intermarrying. But there are only 2 kids in each family. Is that there were others that died? Or were they practicing separate bedrooms?
That's actually a really good question as well. Because, I mean, it wasn't like they would have had contraception to...
Nope.
We don't know how old the parents were. Like, you know, they could have been older parents. Unlikely.
We know that Mr. Woodhouse got married late.
Yeah.
We assume his wife was younger than him. She died when Emma was 4 or 5, but it's possible she could have died in childbirth. We have no idea why she died.
There could have been more siblings. Yeah. And I mean, I don't know how much we know about. We don't really know that much about the Knightleys' parents, do we?
They're never mentioned.
Yeah. So, I mean, they both could have died young or before that. Or maybe they just hated each other and had separate bedrooms and didn't want more kids. They just had an heir, a spare, and then...
We're done.
And then we're done.
That's a sensible way to do it.
Much more reasonable on a woman's body.
And the bank account.
And the bank account.
The chapter opens with Emma thinking about Mr. Elton and Harriet. Mr. Elton must now be left to himself. I'm assuming this is Emma's thought, not Austen's narration, but it could be either. Emma's like, I've got to focus on my family, so I'm not going to be able to assist this relationship.
She's taking a break from meddling. Aww. Character development, maybe? At least she has her priorities straight.
Family before false relationships. And it ends with an often quoted sentence. There are people who the more you do for them, the less they will do for themselves. But of course, this is Emma thinking, if I just help them into this relationship, they're not going to do any of the legwork. Because, Emma, they don't want this relationship.
They're putting legwork into different relationships. Mr. Elton is putting legwork into wooing Emma, but doing nothing to Harriet because he doesn't care about her.
I don't think we hear about Mr. Elton at all for the rest of the chapter.
Thank God. It's so nice to have a break from him.
It's a big deal that the Knightleys are coming to visit because they haven't been for like a year because they went to do sea bathing for the children, presumably for their health because Isabella is totally her father's daughter. So worried about health all the time. The children need sea bathing, particularly for their sore throats.
Copy-paste personality. I know that the medicine was nowhere near as advanced then as it was now, but why do people think that the sea was so curative in this time? In so many, not just Austen's works, but a lot of other writers in the same period or writing about similar things, they're all like, we must go to Brighton, or, you know, we must go either to the countryside or to the sea for some restoration. And I will say a holiday, really good for the health.
Holiday is good.
A holiday is good for the health. Don't know if the ocean specifically is good for the health, though.
But yeah, there was sea air as a prescription, but also sea bathing, where they did that random thing where they took mountain carts and literally dipped them in the water. It's hilarious.
I'm not particularly fond of the sea. There's so much we don't know about it. Occasionally it makes my legs itchy because of the salt and the seawater. But I'm just like, you know what? That's the home of other creatures. I don't want them in my house. I won't enter theirs. Also, the ocean as a whole, we have unfortunately made it very polluted. They didn't have that much. It wasn't as bad. Well, actually, I don't even know when it started getting
probably industrialization.
Problematic.
So the generation after this one. Potentially, there is cleaner air, and because you're supposed to be either sea bathing or sea airing, for want of a better term, you're getting out more. And you're somewhere with clean air, because you might be trapped inside the house not doing anything.
I guess it's time away for John from his job. Doesn't have to be at work. He's at the ocean with his kids. That's pretty good.
Yeah, because he's very stressed all the time. And literally the air in London was real bad.
Yeah.
Because the oil in the street lamps.
The oil in the street lamps, plus you just had horses just going wherever they wanted to. Chamber pots, they just throw them out into the street. Things like that. So it was actually pretty gross. I would also want to get away from that if I lived there.
Living so close to people, although it wouldn't be like it is in London now, but closer than they were used to in the country. So going somewhere where you weren't so tightly packed would also be a good relief.
Get away from those neighbours having, raging parties and stuff. They're having another ball next door. Shut up, I'm trying to sleep. That'd be me. We'd be so crotchety as we were in this time and we were living near people. We'd just be even now in this time, I'm already I
don't want to live near people. No, see, I'd find the food really difficult because lots of stuff we eat now they didn't have then, and everything was pretty bland.
All the things I could not.
No, doesn't sound like a good time.
I've never thought about that in terms of the food being a lot more bland. Every time I think about the past, I'm always like, what would it be like to time travel there? Or for someone from then to time travel here? And I'm like, can you imagine a character, say Emma time traveled to now times, and we gave her this ghost pepper popcorn that we've got a packet of here, and I'm just like, can you imagine her reaction? She probably never had spice in her life.
Might have never had popcorn either. I think her head would literally explode. But stuff we take for granted. For me, it's going to be Italian. Pizza, pasta, all the good shit.
Stuff.
No, I don't think they had that in the regular everyday English household. But we're so used to it now, we don't even think of it as international food.
I eat pasta at least 2 to 3 times a week. Why? Rice?
Yeah, rice.
Rice and... What are these people eating?
So potatoes even were new. Mrs. Austen, there's stories of her putting potatoes in the garden at Steventon and suggesting to one of her neighbours that they could plant them, and then being very like, oh no, that's not for us, because they just come from Ireland. So it was a new thing and they thought it was more of an upper class thing, even though they did look down on the Irish. So I'm like, what did they eat? Pumpkin? Bread? Lots of meat?
They would have had cheese.
Yes, I saw one of those documentaries where it's people who pretend to be in a certain time frame, and this particular series, which I'm going to have to find, I'm so sorry.
I think I know the one you mean. It's 5 people and they're all living in...
No, this one's just 2, and although I have seen that one, they just eat different time periods. And they had a bit where they were eating cheese and there's maggots and stuff crawling all over it.
Oh, no.
Yeah, and they're drinking beer with every meal, and the guy ended up, had the uric acid in his blood increased a lot. Lots of red meat, lots of beer.
No wonder people didn't live as long.
So gross.
Did they eat many vegetables?
Well, they would have, but also, there was no refrigeration. So everything had to be seasonal.
Did people just get scurvy in,
Well, that's why you pickle things and you can, or not can things, you jar
preserve
things.
Stuff.
Yeah. Lots of citrus fruits. Recipes were used with just their rind, because by the time they got to England, they were kind of off, but you could use the rind in lots of things.
Yeah.
Still. Isabella is described as Mrs. John Knightley, for one, which... why do they do this? But also was a pretty, elegant little woman of gentle, quiet manners, which makes me think of Anne Elliot when she runs back into Mrs. Smith, that she's an elegant little woman.
What a way to be described. I mean, I guess it's meant to be a compliment, but it just sounds condescending.
Yeah, I feel like maybe Austen is a bit condescending towards Isabella, though, because she's like, she's not that smart, and she's a bit of a hypochondriac like her father, and,
She is...
simple.
Bit simple.
She was not a woman of strong understanding or any quickness.
Oh, oh, that hit. That's harsh.
Resembling to her father, she also inherited from him his constitution, so she's got a delicate health and over-careful of her kids' health. But they're both lovely. They have a benevolence of temper and a strong habit of regard for every old acquaintance. They sound kind of annoying.
A little bit.
Like, she's almost too nice.
Yeah. But, like, they sound nice in that old people way. Of like, oh, put a sweater on before you leave. Have you had anything to eat, dear?
I can't understand why Mr. John Knightley is so into his wife. Because he's so much smarter than her.
He's a lawyer. He's not described as unhandsome in any way, is he? Like, and I mean, George is, he has the same... He has the same bloodline as Mr. Knightley, so I'm assuming they're both, like, relatively attractive guys.
Yep, tall, gentleman-like, very clever. How does he put up with Isabella, who's not that smart? Is it, again, men like pretty, stupid women?
Probably part of it. He's a second son. He's probably never had any authority, but in his own household, with his slightly weaker-willed wife, maybe he does get that. But also, they did grow up together. Maybe they know each other in a way that nobody else does in some respects. He probably has seen her develop from... She's still younger than him, isn't she? Even
we're not sure how old he is.
No, because my brain always wants to say, like, because he's the younger sibling and she's the older one, she would be older than him. That's not necessarily true.
There's like a 7-year age gap between her and Emma, and...
There's quite a significant age gap between Emma and Knightley, though.
Yep.
So
even if there's the same age gap between
George and John,
he's still going to be older than her.
Yeah.
It also says that he's reserved and can sometimes be out of humour. Match opposites kind of makes me think of the Palmers in Sense and Sensibility. She's very kind and lovely, and he's reserved and sometimes out of humour, although Mr. Palmer goes a little bit further to be often out of humour and dismissive of his wife. But the great thing is here, they do genuinely love each other.
Opposites attract, as the saying goes. But I think it's nice, though, that they do have this. I mean, I think the story does have, like, you've got Emma and Knightley, who are very different in a lot of ways. Not in terms of intelligence. Yeah, they're quite on par with each other in that respect, but definitely in sensibility.
Yeah, and they fight for dominance, whereas Isabella is referred to as a worshipping wife. So Mr. John Knightley
cringe so bad.
Gets anything he wants.
She just gives him whatever he would want. But maybe he doesn't take advantage of that. Maybe, I mean, we could be optimistic. He does sound like he's a provider, he does care for them. And big green flag from him is that he has gone to stay with his wife's family. He hasn't gone and stayed at his family home in at least, they didn't stay at the last trip. So really it's John's turn to go and stay at his family home. But he knows what his wife wants and he goes with her. And then he's around 2 hypochondriacs, if that's not bad enough. He also is an adoring husband, I think.
Emma's not... I mean, she loves him because he's her brother-in-law, right? But sometimes he says things that upset Isabella, but Isabella just lets it go. But also, he doesn't flatter Emma. Just like his brother, they're so capable of seeing Emma as she truly is, rather than everybody else seems to see her, and that gets her back up a little bit.
It makes me kind of feel ill, but they've seen her grow up. They've known her since she was probably born, which makes me, again, feel kind of weird about Emma and Knightley being together. But, maybe they've just kind of grown up and being like, seeing how everybody else treats her and being like, they're going to ruin that kid. Let's not do that. Let's just treat her like everybody else.
Immediately, Mr. Woodhouse brings up, poor Miss Taylor. She's not here to see you. She has left us. Isabella's like, yeah, you probably miss her, and Emma does too. That's so hard for both of you. I don't know how you can do without her, but I hope she's good.
Yeah, I find the line, "What a dreadful loss to you both," just really funny, as if she's like offering condolences for her death. So sorry for this grief that you're having to go through.
And Miss Wood's house, like, we don't see her very often. Emma has to interject and say, we see her pretty much every day.
It's not every hour. It's not enough for Mr. Woodhouse. He's like,
but she has to leave at the end. You don't want her to go home with her husband? Also, like, why did Mr. Woodhouse not just marry her? Just solve the problem.
It would have solved the problem. I don't think Miss Taylor would have been very happy, but then Mr. Woodhouse would have been probably at least a bit happier. Dude, you have a big house. You probably have plenty of rooms. Just invite the Westons to come and live with you. Then she's always there. She's always there.
They don't want any independence.
Everybody caves to Mr. Woodhouse's whims. So, surely Mr. Weston would have conceded at some point.
No one thinks of Mr. Woodhouse as an adult.
Sorry, my toddler wants my wife and I to move in.
It makes me think of Persuasion when Mrs. Clay is sniffing around Sir Walter. Why is no one worried that Harriet is spending so much time at Hartfield? What if Harriet's trying to get into Mr. Woodhouse? She's young and pretty. Yes, okay, I see that face. It is gross. But
in this time frame, anything is possible.
Right?
In life, unfortunately, anything is possible. That does happen now still. Yeah, because Harriet does spend a lot of time there. Although, I don't know if she's ever been left alone with Mr. Woodhouse, but I'm sure people would leave them alone thinking, oh, it's fine.
He's safe.
He's safe. He's just an old child.
Mr. John Knightley's kind of dismissive, like, oh yeah, I didn't think it would be much of a change for you. And it's kind of dismissive. At one point, when Knightley and Mrs. Weston are arguing about Harriet, Mrs. Weston says, you don't understand how important it is for a woman to have female companionship. And they don't. They just don't get it. There's Emma and her father. She's got no one to talk to, no one to spend time with, because with her father, she's parenting him in a way that she almost was never parented herself. She is in a caretaker role and doesn't really have any respite from that.
Time with Harriet is one of the few times that she does get female interaction now that Miss Taylor's gone, because Miss Taylor was like her only friend, really, before she got married. And we've had this discussion many times about how Emma must be very lonely. The men probably don't really get that because they're not stuck at home. John would be going to work and George will be going and seeing his farmers and all the other people who he associates with. And unless she's going to see Harriet or having Miss Bates or something come over, which we know how Emma feels about that, it's like she's probably not getting any she's probably not getting much interaction with other women. Or Miss Weston. Miss Weston visits pretty much every day.
People of her rank, I should say, because she's probably got servants all around her.
Yes.
Definitely.
But it's different from having a friend to talk to. How are they supposed to lament about female problems? Got really bad cramps today.
You didn't even talk about them, though. I still don't think you spoke about them.
Which is still insane.
There's so much stuff people don't talk about. Like, when Emma gets engaged to Knightley, everyone's like, where the hell did this come from? Including Mrs. Weston, who's essentially her best friend. She's never said, this is how I feel beforehand.
Yeah.
Although
in saying that, Emma doesn't even seem to know how she feels for the majority of it.
That's true.
But even when she does figure it out, she never tells anybody in this time frame. If she had said something, it probably would have been like, oh, well, she can never be alone with him now.
Who knows what they're doing in the shrubbery?
Exactly. Oh, there's a screen in front of Mr. Woodhouse, or he's retired to bed early. Oh no, what are they up to?
So they're talking a lot about the Westons' marriage, and Isabella's like, I do like Mr. Weston. He wrote me a note at midnight to tell me there's no scarlet fever at Cobham. Obviously, she freaks out about health, like her father. Essentially, at night, he was like, I'll just write off this note and send it to her so she's comfortable, which is very sweet of him. And then the conversation moves to Frank Churchill, the son who did not come. He did not come to the wedding. He has not come to visit yet, even though he probably should, because marriage visits were a thing, right?
Yeah.
But he wrote to Mrs. Weston, even though he's never met her, and the letter has been passed around. The letter was written from Weymouth. So instead of attending his father's wedding or doing the wedding visit, he's on holiday.
And he had his priorities straight.
It's by the sea. Perhaps he was ill.
Yeah, he could have been unwell and just had to get away from everything. He didn't want to get anybody sick with scarlet fever or the likes, you know. Or we find out more about Frank later on in the book. But is that where Jane is? Is she in
That's
there?
where they get engaged.
That's where
at Weymouth.
they meet there.
But it's implied that he at least knew the Campbells in London. So it's possible that he followed them to Weymouth.
Because
because
he was smitten. He's trying to find his own marriage. Sorry, Dad, can't go to yours.
They talk about the Churchills a little bit. Isabella is so short-sighted to be like, it's so shocking to have your child taken away from their natural home and their father. I do not know how Mr. Weston could do it to give up your child. I really never could think well of anybody who proposed such a thing to anybody else. Please tell me that from your area of privilege. Mr. Weston could not afford to raise his son.
He couldn't give his son a good life. So he gave him to someone who could. She was still family though, wasn't it?
Yeah, still family. Yeah. It's his aunt. He was doing what a lot of people did during that period to make sure their children had the best life that they could. Otherwise, they would have been poor, and Mr. Weston would have been able to work to build money to then be able to buy his home and marry Mrs. Weston. He wouldn't have had the freedom to do that. And yeah, it is really sad to see people taken away from their immediate family, but he was going to family and he was going to be cared for. Admittedly, it didn't maybe work out quite so well because it sounds like Mrs. Churchill was a bitch, but also we really love to blame women for shit.
You've got to think, Miss Churchill was very demanding and controlling. She did also take in a child that wasn't hers in order to help Mr. Weston. But also, that line is really funny because literally just 2 paragraphs earlier, she's like, oh, Mr. Weston was so lovely, the nicest man for sending me a letter saying that there's no scarlet fever. But also, he sent his child away. What an asshole.
Exactly.
The immediate, double back on what she had just said.
You kind of can't have it both ways. Is he a bad guy or is he a good guy, Isabella? Pick. Although people aren't black and white, really. So Emma's kind of not happy about the conversation about Mr. Weston, but she doesn't enter the fray. She's so good at holding back her own opinions about things when her sister and brother-in-law are there to try and avoid arguments.
I do like, though, that in her trying to avoid the argument, it does say, Emma did not like what bordered on a reflection on Mr. Weston and had half a mind to take it up, but she struggled and let it pass. Emma's biggest struggle was not starting an argument in this situation. Oh, I'm so mad. Don't do anything.
That's good of her. She doesn't want to start arguments with her brother-in-law. He is a really different character from Mr. Weston. Mr. Weston's really social and Mr. John Knightley is not. This is quite cutting. He says, you need not imagine Mr. Weston to have felt what you would have felt in giving up Henry or John. He's not a man of strong feelings. We don't know. Mr. Weston probably devastated. His wife's just died and now his son is going away.
I feel like Mr. Weston is a very sensitive soul. And I don't know if it's just how I've always perceived him. It's even just in the little things when he's talking about Frank and he's so proud of even just the slightest little thing. Anytime I think of the moment where Mr. Weston, was having to make those decisions and then actually sending Frank away, I only imagine a man broken, sobbing, collapsing to the ground, just bawling his eyes out. That's how I always think of that moment in Mr. Weston's life. Whereas I feel like John would have been the stiff upper lip type. He would have been almost as if he was having no emotion. He probably would have been upset, but he'd mostly just be focusing on his wife, which isn't a bad thing. He's so privileged that he can never understand what it was like for Mr. Weston. And I also feel like he probably just doesn't know Mr. Weston very well.
Maybe.
Definitely not compared to Emma and Mr. Woodhouse.
It is easy to judge people, So this episode will be released on the 21st of December, so technically it is our Christmas episode. We are not discussing the Christmas chapter, which comes in, I think, 2 chapters. But do tell me about your Christmas socks.
I got these as a gift for myself 2 Christmases ago. I love Christmas so much, I wear them all the time.
Love it.
It's my favorite time of year. It's my favorite holiday. I own multiple Christmas dresses and outfits and skirts. I listen to Christmas music year-round as well. I think that's why people don't like Christmas music, is because they only listen to it in one concentrated time of the year and listen to nothing else during that time. And I'm like, if we just listen to Christmas music like normal music, it actually is, some of it's pretty bloody good.
For the benefit of our listeners, Rachel just happens to be wearing her Christmas socks today. Or a pair of Christmas socks, because I imagine there are multiple.
Yes.
They have a Christmas cracker on them and words that say terrible jokes only, i.e. the jokes inside the Christmas cracker must only be terrible. Mm-hmm. They are, though, aren't they?
They are. They're always awful. And
always a pun.
Obviously, most of them are Christmas themed, but you just hear the same, like, no one ever comes up with an original joke for them anymore either. It's the same stuff over and over and over again. And you get a terrible gift, but you get a cute little hat as well. You know what? Christmas crackers aren't the worst thing. Although they are just future landfill, which...
Yeah, that's not so great. Christmas, because there's a lot of waste.
Yeah.
A lot of waste. Anyway, that's a very cheery note to end on.
Merry Christmas! And, there'll be another one between Christmas and New Year, won't there?
Yeah, the next one's on
Merry
the 20th.
Christmas, and you'll have to wait to have a Happy New Year. Suckers.
And that's our Christmas episode, not very Christmassy, and our discussion of Chapter 11 of Emma.
The greatest gift you'll ever receive is a copy of Emma.
I'm Princess Duncan, this has been Rachel. Oh, wow. Thank you for listening, and we wish you Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas!
I hate that everything is in Roman numerals, though, because I really have to think about...
Like, what number is that?
What does that mean? Oh,
It's
and it gets worse, because there's volume, 2 and 3.
Yeah.
You're like, I have no fucking clue what this is.
Yeah, it's like the further you go, the more complicated it gets to remember.
Yeah. Although, to be fair, if they had the chapter 52 in Roman numerals, I would have no clue. Completely lost.
Yeah.